Swedish city in crisis. Quran burning incites mass unrest in Malmo. Riots engulfed Malmo, Sweden's third largest city, following the burning of a Quran by Salwan Momika, a noted anti Islam activist and Iraqi refugee. The upheaval began on September 3rd and carried on into the next day with fiery confrontations in the immigrant dominated Rosengard neighborhood. In the chaos, cars, including those in underground I almost said it like a British person, garages were set ablaze, and rioters pelted the authorities with stones. Reflecting on the upheaval, senior police officer Petra Stenkula Petra Stenkula stated, quote, "It is extremely regrettable once again to see violence and vandalism at Rosengard." Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson joined in condemning the riots, deeming the violence completely unacceptable, regardless of its cause. The incident has ignited further discussions around free speech, with the government considering stricter guidelines on protest permits for national security reasons. So, man, the Quran burning is still causing tons of problems in Sweden. It's been really interesting over the past, I don't know, like month, 6 weeks now to see how this is still continuing to remain at the top of the news items, top of headlines. And I also thought that this was really significant to cover because this isn't the first time that this has happened in Malmo. I have no idea how to pronounce that correctly, by the way. Apologies to our Swedish listeners. But I remember like 3 years ago when I first joined AR, we talked about a massive riot that happened in Malmo, um, again, because of Quran desecration. And it stood out to me personally because I remember that being um, one of the first times I felt so fired up and passionate about the issue of Quran desecration. I think when talking about that news item, it might have been the first time I actually desecrated a Quran on the show because of how fired up I got over it. And this stuff is still going on to this day. Um, but Armin, what's your reaction?
Okay, so who's setting the cars on fires and doing the riots exactly? Who's doing this?
Well, this happened in a predominantly immigrant neighborhood. So it would be predominantly
Mhm.
Muslim immigrants to Sweden.
Muslim immigrants. Okay. Are people calling this out as evil? I know some people are, but the United Nations, for example, that
No, I
called out the
haven't heard
Quran.
any. I
No.
actually haven't heard
Oh,
anything at
oh,
all. Yeah,
no,
from the UN. No, no,
no,
no, no,
no,
no.
no, 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 nothing. Like, okay, okay. So burning a Quran, they're like, this is an outrage, and this is like there needs to be laws against this, and this is a human rights violation, and all of that's nonsense. But burning cars, however, so Quran pieces of paper that is your property that you have not taken from anyone else, burning that gets you a condemnation from the United Nations. But burning other people's cars,
Yeah, their
that
property.
is their property. Okay, that does not get a okay. I see where the priorities are here. I see. I understand.
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah. And
right.
here's the thing: when there are people, I believe the incident that I was referring to in Malmo, I believe that happened because of the far right Danish, Swedish, or is he Norwegian? And uh political figure Ramses Paludan. I believe it was that happened because of his public desecration of the Quran, and he actually is a full blown far right bigot. But he does it because he actually wants to incite this reaction to prove how uncivilized the Muslim immigrants to Sweden are. Right? He does this to get this kind of reaction to prove that he's actually right in his rhetoric.
Right.
And this is a huge problem, obviously, because when Salman Momika, when he was desecrating the Quran in Stockholm in front of the largest mosque in the city, there were tons of Muslims that were there that were just there to peacefully counter protest against him, you know? But what people who are xenophobic or hesitant or feel very unfamiliar about the new people coming to their country and they have stereotypes, all this stuff, they're mostly going to focus on this. They're mostly going to focus on this as a reason to, further anti-immigrant and anti-refugee policies.
Right. Yeah. So, as to your point, no, not Eric, but this is not right. This is Muhammad. Muhammad is saying these reactions ultimately just bite their own communities and future migrants right up the backside. Well done, idiots. Exactly. And I want to point out that this is probably going to make the governments want to push for banning Quran burning more to avoid things like this. But that's idiotic because you have rewarded. Let me remind you again. If you ban Quran burning, you're going to see more stuff like this, not less, because you are giving a signal that this works. So you are encouraging it. You are telling people that this is the methodology where you have that you have to use to get us to bend the knee. This is why Quran burning is important. Guys, we don't burn the Quran because we're against Islam. We're against Islam, but that's not why we burn the Quran. We burn the Quran because you don't negotiate with terrorists. Because if people use threats of violence to get you to do something, if you do it, if you give in, if you submit, then you are promoting violence. You are showing the entire world that radicalism works. If you want to see less stuff like this, you have to be like, okay, then we are not going to ban this. This is a country of free expression. We're not going to give in. This is not how we negotiate. Anyways.
I completely agree. And we're going to keep saying it. Because it needs to be, What's the quote? It's like the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. And that's what we do here at Atheist Republic, okay? We are here to keep on reminding people and talking about and promoting why these values are so important. It's not just for the betterment of us. It's not just for the betterment of atheists. It's for the betterment of all people. It really is. And if you feel the same way, if this is a value you share, please like the stream and consider supporting Atheist Republic. We are a 501c3 charity, okay, in the United States, and we're nonprofit in Canada. And your support really does help keep the show going. So you can do that by subscribing. We're on the road to 40K. Okay. And you can become a Patreon or donate to us on PayPal.
Imran is saying, man, these streams are criminally underwatch. Yes, guys, you could help us with that. You could tell people about our channel. Okay, there are not that many channels that covers the things that we are in the way that we are. So if you see any value in that, please help us out by telling people that they need to come watch our shows. Okay, do that. That really helps grow the channel if you go recommend us to other people. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.